Andrew, we didn't know that you were going to be here like 1 hour before the show, so I don't want you to think that this is an ambush,
well,
right?
hang on. How come though? I told you guys earlier in the week I'd be here.
No, it's because we did the thumbnail and all that, and I'm just saying this because it's going to sound like it's an ambush, right? But I'm like we all YouTubers here. I'm kind of a student of the game, and I
ambush me. Let's do it.
yes. So I'm going to play this so you can understand exactly what I'm talking about, right? I think you remember this.
Nothing to this. Yeah. He works. He's. God damn it!
You're still whining. Stop whining.
That
just
is
make an
a product.
argument.
I'll your.
You're gonna attack me.
All right. Nobody's.
Do you usually?
And I cut it here because you say. So do you usually threat people on a stand your ground stage, something like that? And your crowd was raving. They were like, wow! And everybody was like, if Wes Watson with the hairs on the arms, whatever the dude, I'll call him, Andrew, everybody on the white and community would say, hey man, you got what you got. Yeah. You went ahead and you put your hands on a person that wasn't doing nothing to you. So if Andrew has a and he you or for a or whatever, you are going to. I'm not. Andrew doesn't spend 1 day in jail. You touched him, you go to heaven, and Andrew goes and does his Crucible podcast. What changed between that and a situation where that dude put his hands on him and warned him? He says, "If you touch me again, see what happens." You kind of warn him. If you touch me again, you threaten people on stand your ground state. Like, what changed between then and this situation? Can you explain that, please?
Gee, what could be the difference between a multiple hardened tattooed felon threatening to attack a man on a stage who's armed in the state of Florida and two kids at a game where one of them shoves the other one in the shoulder during an altercation where you're not even allowed to have a. What could possibly be the difference there? What could be the distinction? Well, let's start with this. Okay. The distinction is that what I said to him was, do you usually threaten men in Florida? That's a de-escalation tactic, not an escalation tactic. That's saying, hey, listen, no, it's the opposite of a threat. It's de-escalation. He made the threat. All I did was say, hey, look, I'll respond in kind if I'm attacked. It's not a good idea to attack me. That's a de-escalation tactic. That's the first thing. The second thing is that clearly the distinction in size is enormous. Okay. And when you're looking, yes, it is. And when you're looking at the distinction, yes, it is. I was there, dude. You weren't there.
No, you kind of made.
If you're looking at the distinction, you'll note that is the case. And then the third thing is there was never any threat from me at all. Just that if you attack me, not you shove me on the shoulder or something like that. If you attack me, that's it. And yes, if I'm attacked, of course.
So Andrew, this is the problem with your statement, right? Yeah. And I think I kind of got you. The difference between you and Wes Watson is the same size difference between Metcalf and Carmelo. It's literally the same. One dude is a small dude, the other one is the big dude. It's just,
not even though, not because y'all are not that disparate.
No, we are fantastic. Fantastic. No. Wait, 1 second, friends. I'm 6'2".
He's bigger than me.
1 second, friends. I'm 6'2", fantastic. He's 6'5".
I'm saying the West guy. The West guy's a little motherfucker. He's little.
Oh. So he's little. He's even little.
Little.
Oh damn! What?
West
I didn't know about that. I thought he was the mountain from Game of Thrones.
Little, bro. A little roid head motherfucker. Bro. He might be 5'8", 5'9". That motherfucker.
Okay.
Big dude.
So this the same way you said do X. Yeah. That's what he said too. He said, "Hey, you're going to do that again then."
Let me ask you this.
He's implied, right?
Could I have done that in California?
No, but he wasn't in California.
How come I couldn't do it in California?
Because the laws don't allow it. What about in Texas? Now, what about in Texas?
Hang on. Chill out. No. I don't even think in Texas that would be the case, that you could do that in Texas. I could pull a gun out at a school when I'm underage and person in the
talking about you. Wait. We talking about you, not the school, brother. We talking about the school.
Okay.
Hey, fantastic.
Let me answer.
Well, hey, friends, 1 second. We're going to let him. Well, friends, don't fall for the calm down. He's aggravating that. God damn it. Let him
I'm not
finish his
aggravated.
let him finish his
Listen,
statement, and we correct him in the end. Go ahead and explain to you, Andrew, why you bring in California when this was in Texas, and we know Texas and Florida have very specific laws that actually protect people from actually getting jumped. Go
Because
ahead, Andrew.
Florida has a different set of stand your ground laws than
Mhm.
Texas does. That's one. The reason I bring in the state of California is because it has distinct laws about self-defense too. Wouldn't have been able to use the same laws to protect myself in California, having a concealed carry, that I would have been able to in Florida. And Florida does have better stand your ground laws than Texas does, though Texas does have pretty good laws when it comes to this. So, but ultimately, I think in Texas, I still may have ended up in a problem unless the guy attacked me. And I think in Florida I would have too. In other words, if I had walked over to him and shoved him, right, or something like this, or escalated the situation by going out and saying, "You're all a bunch of, come on, bring it on, bring it on," and then he shoved me, I think I'd be in a world of hurt right now.
Sure. So instead of actually asking you, I will ask all your supporters, and you know him very well. You have a very loyal fan base and all that. If that man, Wes Watson, matter of fact, I will tell you this side in Wakanda, right? No, everybody will be defending you. Hey, man, sir, get you out of jail. He didn't do nothing. Go ahead, go. He did. We become the didn't do tribe. He didn't do nothing. Get him out of jail. He defended himself, right? Would your fan base, the people that support you, Rachel Wilson, Rattlesnake, all these people that have very strong sentiments about the situation, say Andrew needs to go to jail because he responded in a disproportional way by a guy that puts his hands on him, or would they say, "Hey, man, stand your ground"?
Well, I'm sure my close friends and family would definitely support me, even if I was the agitator. Absolutely. But I don't think that my normative fan base or general people that I interact with would be very supportive at all. In fact, the reason I won that engagement overwhelmingly is because I was cool, calm, and collected and refused to escalate it. I
So
wouldn't
if you did, you
escalate.
think they
I
wouldn't?
refused to escalate the engagement. Instead, I de-escalated the engagement. It's literally the opposite of what happened here. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even know how you draw the parallel.
No, the parallel is a hypothetical, like you usually do. You bring hypotheticals to see if people are
but the
logically
hypotheticals
consistent.
usually are analogous that I bring up.
Yeah, but this situation is very close to what happened to you. This is what I'm saying. If this situation escalated because Wes decided to put his hands on you, he was the one that was and threatened you but didn't do nothing, I guarantee you most people would literally say, "Hey, respectfully, this last to protect Andrew. He warned him first. He gave him a warning shot. Look at where we at. Don't do that to me." And if he did something, everybody will rile up and actually stand beside you because you actually have the right to defend yourself.
Do you think even the reaction of my audience would be much different if I jumped up on the stage and I said, "This not going to do anything, and neither are all you"? And then he came over and he shoved me and I pulled out him in the. You think that everybody would just be super supportive of me, huh? Really? I super supportive of me.
I know that they will be super supportive because I've been watching you for years, and every time there was a situation, let's go. What do they think about Trayvon Martin? What do they think about Rittenhouse? What do they think about all these people? What do they think about Mr. Chong?
You're just vibing it out, bro.
Now, what I'm saying is, once again, there's a pattern of behavior that we observe from years ago, where when a white man decides to go ahead and chase somebody because of some Skittles, chase somebody because of a bottle of water, chase somebody because he was protecting something city from looters, and all of a sudden he's being chased by the crowd, all of y'all say they deserve to. They shouldn't escalate the situation. This shouldn't happen. So what changes now? Now that we introduced the Andrew Wilson on this situation, what changes now?
Escalation, bro. Like we just determined 15 times. I don't know what is hard here. What are you not getting here? What are you confused about? I did everything in my power not to escalate the situation. He did everything in his power to escalate the situation. You see the distinction now or no? Do you see the distinction? Don't see it?
No, fantastic. You got it. I just want to point out, Andrew, that you like to use hypotheticals to see if people are logically consistent, and now you are refusing to engage to the said hypothetical by saying because I didn't. No, it's because you doing the but I didn't do it. That's what the hypothetical
is.
Specifically what if you did?
Okay, what if I did? So what's the question?
So you would go, so Andrew, you like if you did that, you think you should go to jail. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, if I escalate a situation instead of de-escalate a situation when I'm armed, right,
Hmm.
and try to
It's the same situation, the West
yeah,
situation.
try to purposely create conflict while I'm armed, that's completely irresponsible, and I think at the very least I'd get a manslaughter charge, but I think I'd get a murder
Okay.
charge.
Oh, yeah, but that's the thing. Should you get convicted? Like you said that it was too like you think that he should have the penalty. Should Andrew Wilson have the penalty because Mr. Wes Watson escalated the situation and actually pushed you or shoved you or did anything to you on
Yeah,
in
if it's the
Florida where we know
case, if it's the case that I'm creating provocation so that
Mhm.
I can kill somebody, yeah, that sounds premeditated to me.
who,
So,
cre-
yeah.
who created provocation? Metcalf
That would
by
have been
actually
that would have been me in the situation that
no,
you're
it was
talking
no,
about.
it was him.
I'm trying to make this as analogous as possible to engage directly with the hypothetical.
Sure.
Okay. If it's the case, and this seemed to be critical to both the prosecution and the defense, that
Mhm.
this guy was saying things like, "You're all a bunch of, you're all sissies, you're all wusses," like this. He was escalating the situation as much as he possibly could in
Mhm.
order to force a confrontation. That's when he the guy in the chest. I think that if I had done the exact same thing or the exact same parameters with Wes Watson, that yeah, I would have been arrested, justifiably so, and probably would have gone to jail for murder.
Yes. So for me to land, I think you are like the escalator was clearly Wes Watson on that situation. Nobody would say that you were the escalator for you teasing him and talking about like because you were teasing him. You were kind of provoking him here and there. You were throwing some
Well,
pot
hang
shots.
on. There's no choice for me to walk away there. That was a panel situation
Oh,
where
there was a choice.
hang on, calm down. Just let me
Mhm.
let me say my piece. In that situation, we were supposed to be there having an argument.
Sure.
That was the point of us being there. These guys weren't at a football game for the purpose of having an argument. I was literally there to have an argument. That's what my occupational standard there was. Andrew's going to go up on the stage and have an argument with you. That was what my
Sure.
job is, my
Nothing
occupation.
to this.
Yeah.
But
He
where
works
is the where? I don't see no chain in your leg. Like, are you chained on the chair? Like, it look like it's a tall chair, but I think you can jump off it and leave, just like Anthony could do it. You chose to stay, even though you were being threatened, and he chose to stay, even though he was threatened. He is clearly the antagonistic.
let's look at
He
it.
is clearly hey, Andrew. After that, because I went and watched the show. After that, like 3 or 4 minutes later, he literally asked the crowd, "Hey man, should I him? Should I him, guys? Should I?" Everybody was like, "Hey, chill." He started the situation,
I agree.
and when he was warned, he kept going. The same way Metcalf started the situation. He didn't react violently, and he says, "Don't touch me again," and you do what? And then he touched him again. So
And how did so here's where it becomes disanalogous.
Huh?
Where am I escalating and provoking the situation rather than de-escalating and not provoke? Exactly. So if in the case,
one second, please.
if he's playing the
Andrew,
role, if he's
Andrew, please,
at some
Andrew,
point,
one
you gotta
second.
let me respond to this.
No, I know, Andrew, but you asked a question, right?
Yeah, but I actually
no, I got
have
you.
a
I got you. It's
follow-up
perfect.
to
It's
it.
like 2 seconds. It's 2 seconds. He escalated the situation, but you were throwing pot shots from that moment until the end of the show. I literally have the transcript where you keep throwing pot shots and talking about that dude and provocate him over and over and over again.
Those
What
are
is the
all
difference?
forms of what I was doing was forms of de-escalation. All of it was de-escalation. The idea also there was I was literally in my occupation brought up to make arguments. That's my I wasn't at a football game where I could just walk away from the person. Okay, I was up on a stage. There was 2 sides in which you could get off the stage. Both of them had people in front of them, including Wes Watson's goons on both sides. So I don't know. First of all, you don't even know the facts there. The second problem that you have is even if I were to be the most charitable to this view I possibly could be, let's look at it objectively. If
Sure.
it was the case that I jumped up, because in this scenario, you're utilizing Metcalf is Watson and I am Carmelo. This is where where you're trying to make the analogous feature. And it's like, that's fair enough. But the distinction is that I did no provocations. I didn't stand up on the stage. I didn't call the audience a bunch of. I didn't say, if you don't do anything, you're a little. I didn't do any of that. None of it. I did not
neither
escalate the
did he.
situation. I de-escalated. Well, I have transcripts here that say opposite, at least according
Right.
to
Right.
Sure.
at
Those,
least
But
those
what
are the
you
ones we
said,
according to
talked about.
eyewitness testimony. And by the way, with me, there's no chance that you could mess up eyewitness
2026
testimonies. It went out to
testimony.
millions of people.
sure, but what you said is, I didn't have a choice. Yes, you did. I was surrounded by goons. So was he. He was on an opposing tent that has none of his friends, that is all the other people engaging into a person that is bigger than him. First, you use the look at the size difference. It's the same size difference, or even worse when it
haven't
comes to
proven
them.
that.
I was surrounded. I
You
was
have not
surrounded by
demonstrated that.
you. If you were on an hostile environment, so was he. He was not on his tent. He was not with his
Nobody,
school. He was.
and who's making the claim to the opposition? Even if it was the case that he felt that he was in a hostile environment, that doesn't mean that he was. I didn't feel that I was in a hostile environment. I felt like he was a hostile person in that environment, and
And you-
perhaps some of his goons were too. The second point to the claim here, though, is that everything that I did was de-escalation. Had I gone over to Wes Watson and provoked him and done this and that, and by the way, had a where I shouldn't have and things like this, I'm sure the outcome would have been very different. This kid was not allowed to have a knife at the school. He was not allowed to pull it out. He was not allowed to, they weren't allowed to
Okay.
they weren't allowed to
So
do
no,
this shit.
fantastic. I promise. This is the last thing. So I went back and looked at the transcript. You said that dude was a jailbird. You said that he was in prison. Sorry, YouTube. You said after this dude literally tried to attack you and says, should I slap him? You literally, you talk about his bald head. You said he was a jailbird. You said that he was raped in prison. You said that his veins are popping out of his head because he doesn't have no hair. You escalated the situation.
Here, I'll prove it to you. I will prove it to you. If you watch the video and you watch the back and forth, it was actually only when I started to talk smack back that he calmed down. That was it. That was when he actually calmed down, is when I said some back to the guy. But I never made a provocation towards him. I didn't get in his face. He didn't come and get in my face. If he had, maybe the situation would have become very different, but I still would have moved towards de-escalation. And I was fully allowed under my rights in the state of Florida to have a firearm in that open arena. I would not have been at a school, especially not a public event. And a public event like that is not a place where you're going to take, unless it's the case that you think there's going to be some type of trouble. Generally speaking, that's what the association is going to be. So he was violating the law under multiple terms. The situations were not analogous at all, not to mention the fact that he was there for a sporting event. I was brought up on stage to make arguments aggressively, which is what people often invite me on their panels and on their shows to do, like you did for this one.
Sure. So, hey, fantastic.